Hi everyone, I am going to be using this video to discuss the Rom&nd Glasting Color Glosses. These have at this point been out for a couple of weeks. Yes, it is. These are available globally. They have pretty much all completely sold out on the Olive NC12 global website. I got mine off of YesStyle before they even hit Olive NC12. They might still be on there. You can use code FOXWAFFLES to save a little bit of money. It is an affiliate code, or you can also find them on places like Beauty Box Korea. If they are available on the Rom&nd global website, you can always go there, although the prices do tend to be higher. YesStyle, I got them for like 10 bucks each, which is great for a gloss. Great price, I can't complain. That is like $2 more expensive than the e.l.f. lip oils. I am wearing one of the shades today. I do have lip swatches of all 6 shades. The swatch footage may be of questionable quality. I am working and practicing on getting better at lip swatching, like the lighting, the foundation, the footage, the posing, whatever. I do want to improve that. So these are very crude, but also they are realistic, so I hope you guys do enjoy the swatches. I am just going to take this introductory portion of the video to quickly discuss my experience with the formula, color coverage, colors themselves, the shade range, and any other relevant things I want to discuss. So first off, these are there are 6 shades and they are not plumping at all. So these are not going to tingle, they're not going to burn, and they're not going to have any kind of cooling or minty sensation, which is great for people like me who really don't like that. Right now it feels like plumping is suddenly all the rage, like even freaking Gucci stuck pepper in theirs. So here are the 6 shades. First things first that you can immediately notice just by looking at the tubes is that these are all very, very muted, desaturated, toned down colors. Korean makeup in general has been trending more and more natural looking, like, so it's borderline getting kind of boring because now everything looks the same. So you can definitely see that trend reflected in the color selection. I do hope if Rom&nd wants to expand this range that they do try and add a greater variety of punchier and more fun colors in the future. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the shades. They're fine, but at the same time, if you're looking for something a little bit more saturated and fun, then you're not going to find that here. You're better off looking at their other range. So the other thing I wanted to discuss is probably going to kind of be like the biggest question that people have about the Glasting Color Glosses is how are they different from Rom&nd's other dewy and glossy options? Because Rom&nd at this point has several color formulas on the market, and it can be very, very difficult to see how they're different and what's worth spending your money on. So here are the other 3 glossy lip formulas that they offer on the market that are currently available. So this is the oldest one, the Juicy Lasting Tint. This is what made Rom&nd the huge name that it is now. These plus the Zero Velvet tints were just amazing and still are amazing. And these have actually aged remarkably well trend-wise. I would say that if you were to go out and buy one now, you wouldn't really feel like it's a dated product at all. So this is kind of the original one. And then you also have the Glasting Water Tint. And then this is their most recent iteration of dewy tints, is the Dewy Full Water Tint. I thought when they made this that they would stop making the Juicy Lasting tints, but they just teased on their Korean account a new shade 36 of the Juicy Lasting tints. This is actually my favorite of the bunch right now. I absolutely love these. Feels like they took all of the downsides of these and took away all the downsides and then took all the upsides of both of these and made this. I feel like that's what they did. This is absolutely amazing. So we have, I'm gonna use all similar-ish colors. So we have 4 glossy finish lips from Rom&nd. How are they different? So I'm gonna try and explain that to you, because at this point my lip collection is like 80% Rom&nd and I have 0 regrets. So I'm going to start with these 2 here. So the biggest thing about everything except the Glasting Color Glosses is that all 3 of these have some level of staining, and these are just straight glosses. They don't stain whatsoever. That is going to kind of be the biggest difference between these 3 and the glosses, is that these are like, as the name says, these are tints and this is a gloss. They're going to behave about as you would expect both to behave. So if you like staining, you want staining, then the glosses are obviously not going to give that to you. Go for one of these tints. So I'm going to start off with the Juicy Lasting Tint. The Juicy Lasting Tint kind of has the most pigment of the bunch, and it kind of has like a milkier appearance to it because of the high pigmentation. So I'm gonna like swatch it here. So generally when I apply these in 2 layers And you can see it has a nice doe-foot applicator. As you can see, it is much more pigmented and it has a very nice shine to it. It does stain, but that's what it looks like. I would say this one is kind of like the most like no frills, no bells and whistles. It is a dewy tint with a very pretty finish, does what it needs to do, stains slightly. It does have a very strong fruity scent to it. Like you can definitely smell it. So if you don't like that, you may not like these. They do kind of have a sweet taste to them, so at least they don't taste awful. And then the Glasting water tints, I feel like the biggest difference between these two is that these have a much more kind of clear glass, imagine like dewdrop kind of finish to them. You can also see the applicator, it's a little bit different, not too different though. So I'll put this here. These are less pigmented, so if you want to get opaque pigmentation, you're not going to get that with these, and you do have to put on more layers. Sorry, I'm like terrible at swatching just by looking at the monitor. You can see packaging wise it has that clear lid to kind of indicate that it's like meant to look more like watery. Like if you leave the Glasting water tint on for long enough, it kind of starts to set and form this film, and it stays glossy throughout the day even after you've eaten or drunk from even after you have used a straw to drink something, you will still see glossiness remain. Like it like sets down and stays glossy for the entire day. Both of these do that, but the Glasting water tint definitely does that more. Again, both of these do stain. Here's what they kind of both look like on my hand. Glasting water tint has far fewer shades than Juicy Lasting tint. They're up to 36 now, so if you want really fun, funky shades you might not necessarily find elsewhere, you'll probably find it in the Juicy Lasting tint range. The Glasting water tint range is a lot smaller. And then the newest version is the Dewy Full tint. This has a little bit less pigment than the Juicy Lasting tint, and it is slightly more clear and dewy and glassy looking than the Juicy Lasting tint, but it's not gonna have. So my biggest issue with the darker shades of the Glasting water tints is that sometimes I have trouble applying this evenly. So especially when I got the newest collection of Glasting water tints, as particularly Woody Sunset, it is really, this gets kind of streaky. These set and self-level pretty much almost instantly, so I truly can tell that this feels like an innovative formula in terms of dewy tints, because I feel like it like self-levels so much faster than the other two do. It is a little bit thicker, and it's a little bit less pigmented, but I do personally like these the most. This does stain, but it stains very faintly, so to me it almost doesn't feel like it stains at all. And then the applicator is also far more different. It is a flat applicator, and the other really cool thing about this applicator that is not the case for the other two products I just showed you is that that comes out the moment you pull the applicator out. This is enough for both your top lip and your bottom lip. This is all you need. Magic amount. You don't need to wipe any amount of product off onto the neck of the tube. You don't need to double dip unless you want a super intense look. They really, really did something with this. It's perfect. I don't know how they did it, but this is definitely my favorite product from them, is the Dewy Full water tint, and I still prefer these even over the glosses. Here. And I feel like this applicator, it's so soft and cushy. Feels so luxe and nice. My favorite applicator, second in line to the YesStyle ones, and the price differential between this and YesStyle definitely says something about how good these are. So here are the swatch comparisons of all three. So you can see that they're not terribly different. They look much more different on the lips. I feel like if you want a more detailed breakdown of the Rom&nd formulas, you might want to go check out Minsko's channel, because she does have higher quality swatches and she does discuss this more, but this is just my personal experience with these three formulas. So hopefully this helped you guys a little bit. And then just to show you guys, I'm not gonna wipe off the Dewy Full tint because it's only been on my hand for like a few seconds, but I'm gonna wipe off the top two now because I've been talking for a while. I'm just gonna wipe them off with a paper towel so you guys can see the stain that gets left behind on the heel of my hand. So you can see that they do stain. And so you can see the Glasting water tint stains way more than the Juicy Lasting one. So if you want something that has a much more obvious stain, the Glasting water tint will do that for you. You can see the Juicy Lasting one, this shade in particular doesn't stain very much. If you want a Juicy Lasting tint that stains a lot more, then I would definitely recommend going for a darker shade. Those obviously will stain much more obviously. Now that leaves me with the Glasting water glosses. These are going to be the most sheer of the bunch. If you put on one layer of these, you're going to find it actually almost looks clear aside from the darkest two shades. Once you put on the second and the third layer, then you start to see the color development come out and it's beautiful. So if you prefer more sheer glosses, you just want a hint of color that day, then use just one layer. But if you want the color to show, then use more layers. So I do really like that. There are some glosses out there where you just cannot customize the color coverage at all. It's sheer and there's no building it, or it's opaque and there's no shearing it out. This you can go in between from almost sheer to about medium coverage. You can go between that range very easily with these just by applying 1, 2, or 3 layers. Focus the other layers just on like the center of your lip and right above your cupid's bow area. That way you're not getting gunkiness building at the corners of your mouth. But yeah, I do really like that for that. This does feel deeply hydrating. It feels so nice on the lips. I just love wearing these. And I also do, again, really like that it makes your lips look really nice and juicy without any sort of plumping. So you can see here, it is a slanted applicator. I find that in order for me to get even one layer, I do have to go back and dip in multiple times, but it's not too bad. It's better than having to wipe off the excess on the tube. Sorry, I really need to get better at swatching. So you can see as I shear it out, you can see that it can become very sheer. Very pretty. You can see the comparison between the dewy full water tint. See how it is very glossy, very shiny, just immediately, you can tell. Sorry, I'm trying to swatch. I can't do it. So that is the shade Nutty Vague, which is kind of the most like nude toned lip, so to speak. And you can see as I turn my hand, it is just so glossy, so beautiful. Definitely much shinier than all of the other lip products I just showed you. So I'm gonna wipe off the dewy full tint now because it's been on my hand for a while. And you can see here the dewy full tint also, it stains the least of the 3. This gloss also does, after about 5 minutes, it does kind of smooth out and level out, so it is very flattering, does not settle in lip lines at all. So you can see I've been wearing the shade Deepen More on my lips now. Ever since I first started filming this video, I've been wearing it, and so you can just see it smooths over my lips. It is so pretty and so shiny. And here you can see on my arm, I gave it a couple minutes to settle down. And you can see here how it has now formed this smooth film on my skin. Completely leveled out. It's like a gel. It's like a nail gel. So I personally think, especially because these are between 10 to 14 US dollars, that these are absolutely an amazing product, and not just for the price, these are just amazing. My only critique about them really is just going to be the fact that these shades are all on the desaturated, more kind of muted side, and I would love to see some slightly more fun shades. Like I would have loved to see a gloss in these shades. Personally, like these 2 shades in gloss form, I would love to see that from them. I hope you guys enjoyed this very long-winded review of these Glasting Color Glosses. I absolutely love them, and I know at this point I basically sound like a simp for Rom&nd, but that's because I kind of am. So I wiped off Nutty Vague, and you can see no stain. All gone. So that's why the lip swatches, you can see how it was very easy for me to take off and reapply. I'm going to now jump to the lip swatch footage, and I'm going to voice that part over, and let me know if you have any more questions about Rom&nd. So yeah, until then, take care. Okay, so I am going to be voicing over this lip swatch portion, and first I'm starting off with the lightest shade. This is Peony Ballet. I definitely picked the wrong color of lip liner. It's a little bit too warm and coral, so after this I do switch back to using my Rom&nd lip liner. As you can see, this is not really my favorite shade of the bunch. I don't generally consider myself to be someone who likes to wear light colored lip glosses or light colored lip shades in general. However, at the very least, I can say that this shade does lack the white cast that I tend to dislike about these shades. So for me, this would probably just be something I kind of just treat as like almost a clear option as opposed to an actual color gloss I would wear on its own, but it is pretty nonetheless. Here you can see I'm using Dovey Pink from Rom&nd. This is what I'll use for the rest of the swatches. This is the second lightest shade, Nutty Vague. I actually really like this shade. This is a very light, warm toned shade that again lacks that white milkiness that I sometimes dislike in more opaque Western nude glosses. So I think again this is a really great option for people wanting something light that's not going to make you look like you died. This is the third one, Rose Finch. Starting from here, I really like all the rest of these shades. They are so beautiful. You can see the color development really comes through. If you want to layer it, you can. But yeah, I wore pretty much anywhere between 1 to 1.5 to 2 layers for any of these swatches. I could have definitely been way more consistent in showing what they looked like after 1 versus 2 layers, but I was just trying to do my best with the limited energy that I had. So here is shade 3. So pretty. Works really well with this look in particular. Gonna reapply my lip liner. This is 04 Grapey Way. This is one of the more unique shades of the bunch. If you want a more cool toned option that isn't straight up purple, then this I think would be a really great option for you. I again really like this shade. It looks so good on me. I used to be in the anti-cool tones camp. I used to think I could never pull it off, but lately I've been really into it, and you can see this shade just looks so good on me. I think it would look good on a variety of people. This is the 5th shade. This shade I actually didn't like as much as I thought I would. I don't know, it seems like it should be darker, and it kind of is, but at the same time it also felt a little bit more sheer than the other shades. I think it's because I have naturally very pigmented lips. This kind of is the same shade of color as my lips, so I think it's more of a me thing. Anyways, you can see it is quite nice. I think maybe it's a little bit too desaturated for me. I hope you guys enjoy that shade. The last shade that I'm going to be doing is Deepen More. This is going to be the darkest shade in the lineup. It is also a warm toned shade. Definitely one of my favorites personally. I really like it. You can build this up in multiple layers and make it look actually quite intense and saturated if you want. I really love this. I think this is definitely one of my favorites, along with the grapey shade and also the rose shade would be kind of my top 3 picks in the range. So that's going to be it for these swatches in this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed these comparisons. I'm sorry that these weren't higher quality than, you know, there's lots of really great quality swatchers on the internet, so sorry I can't quite live up to that, but I hope these were helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or comments.